Hi everyone, welcome to week 8. I am here to give you just a brief introduction to this week's assignment on social listening. You also have your content assignment that's due and then a narrative about that. And make sure in your narrative that you're addressing the specific goals, about around community engagement and all of that. That's really important. Okay. So this week we're going to do a social listening exercise. So when you work in social media, a lot of what you want to do is constantly be collecting data and intelligence, really, like how you're doing, how you're doing on specific platforms. All of these things are really important. And so social media monitoring, you've already done some monitoring because you were looking at a specific brand on specific platforms. And then what you did was you took that data that you collected and you analyzed it. And that really is social listening. So if monitoring is the tree, listening is the forest. So it's where you're constantly looking for opportunities. You're constantly looking for potential problems so that you can solve them. Social listening is super important when it comes to crisis management, avoiding crises, and then also seeing how you're doing in responding to one if you're using social media tools for that. So when you're social listening, you want to really understand conversations around a specific brand, a specific trend, a specific kind of idea that's bubbling up into the culture. So, and you need tools to do that. So one really easy way to do it is by having a good robust tool like Hootsuite, where you can monitor for keywords, you can monitor trends, you can monitor for any mentions of your brand, in social media. That's a really great listening tool. If you don't have that, you can use individual tools. And there are a bunch, and I have given you some readings about social listening, and then I have there's 13 free tools in here that you can explore. And then also I listed the Social Mention, which I'm sure is in this article. I just can't remember. I'm pretty sure it is. And BuzzSumo. These are really important. I would definitely use these. And also Google Trends. Google Trends is just such an easy way to find out what trending topics are, right? So what I want you to do is just to give you a place to start. I'm asking you to look for your brand's complaints. You can choose any one of your brands that you did, right? You could do, the first one that you did the audit on or the second. And what you want to do is you want to see, like, okay, so what are they complaining about? What are our competitors' customers complaining about? Now, you already may have some of this data because of the audit that you did. But you want this to be, that might have been around one single product, so you want to sort of poke around a little bit, see if you can find, so what are people talking about on social media? So Social Media Mention is a good one for that to use, and just see, so in one of my other classes, I had a Betty Crocker and Duncan Hines group. And what the Betty Crocker group found was that Duncan Hines was receiving a lot of complaints around a particular product that did not come with icing. And I could totally understand being upset about that. And then on social media, Duncan Hines kept saying, oh, well, we're sorry you're disappointed, but we want people to be able to pick their own icing, and it's sort of like, that's not the point, Duncan Hines. People clearly want icing included in this project or this product. So that then becomes an opportunity for Betty Crocker to swoop in and add the icing to a similar product that they have. And so that's one way that social listening can help you uncover product deficits or opportunities, depending on which side of the complaint you're on. So complaints are a good place to start. You can use regular Google for that. You can try Social Mention. I would try the Board Reader. The Board Reader one is very handy. It's in the 13 Tools article, because it does a lot of the online forums. I'm pretty sure Reddit would be in there, which are very powerful social media, data centers, really. I mean, there's so much, personal narrative that goes on in those. So it's definitely worth it to check it out to see if people are complaining or talking about. Basically, you want to hear, what are people talking about our brand that might not be directly on our exact social media platforms, but some more sort of out there in a bigger social media universe. And then look for some trends, look for some opportunities. So, the environment right now is so huge, it's so big, and it's only going to get bigger, especially with millennial directed brands. So, one of my other classes, there was they were doing a supermarket, and they decided to cash in on the trend, or to jump in on the trend, that they would, and that their competitors were doing so well in environmental campaigns. And they decided that it was really a good opportunity to start, bring your own container and your own utensils to the salad bar, and we'll give you a 10% discount, something like that. So that was something that they came up with after social listening and seeing how well some of the competitors were doing around environmental topics and campaigns. So you can use Google Trends for that. You can look at BuzzSumo. You want to enter your brand's name or one of its products, and you're going to see what comes up around that, and how much it was shared and how much engagement happened. And that's a really, really, really handy tool. So again, the Betty Crocker group found that when they went into BuzzSumo, that older sort of traditional recipes from when the Betty Crocker first launched, when that was in the 50s or 60s, were really popular, on Pinterest. And so, one of the social listening conclusions was, hey, they should do a lot more of these sort of, old-fashioned legacy, recipes. So, sometimes you might find out that, okay, things are going pretty well, but maybe not. So don't be too, feeling like you too constrained by the complaints and the trends. Just, if you really can't find anything in complaints and trends, see what you can find, and then, make some conclusions, and that's it. So it's really just about poking around, but it can sort of feel a little amorphous because you don't necessarily know what you're poking around for until you find it. So that's the spirit of this assignment. Okay, I will talk to you soon.